Hello everybody. Today we're going to deviate from the typical VHS collection videos that I have been doing lately, and instead I'm actually going to show some tapes that I actually recently picked up within the last month. I've been to a few thrift stores, and some had quite a few tapes that were interesting, and then so others just had nothing at all. So without further ado, let's get started. These aren't in any particular order. I'm just gonna show the tapes. I'll try to keep them somewhat brief. So first one we have is an RKO film, Flying Leathernecks, a John Wayne movie. This tape is recorded in EP mode. And there's no manufacturing information as far as I'm aware on this tape. Next up, we have a Christopher Nolan movie, but not the one you're hoping for. Insomnia. This was actually his the second film that he directed. The first was Memento, which I did find a copy of, but it was not in very good condition. So, again, I continue to search. Alright, so we have a late release, and not the last one for this update video. Cinderella Special Edition. Part of the Platinum Collection. This was actually the last VHS release that Disney put out under the Platinum banner. But there were some that were on DVD that did get VHS releases, but they didn't give it that Platinum branding. September 7th, 2005. Alright, next up, we have an Alfred Hitchcock movie, I Confess. This is before he made the likes of Rear Window and Vertigo. This was the early 50s this film came out. Alright, the next tape we have here, I actually have another copy of this movie with this kind of cover. Pinocchio. The reason why is because it is the variant with the artwork that slides in and out and with an updated spine layout. That matches some of the later issues in the Classics line. Let's see. The print date's really hard to read on this one. I think it's November 11th, 1986, but the ink is almost gone at this point. It's really hard to read. Alright, this next tape was a fairly interesting pickup. Angel Heart. Specifically, this, yeah, here it is. This is the unedited version. The film originally received an X rating. It had to be cut to get an R rating. But they did release the uncut version on home video. At least on VHS, anyway. There's no printing on this. And I'm aware if there's a loose piece, I need to fix it. And also, unfortunately, this tape was spliced, so it actually starts right at the very beginning of the movie, after all the logos and everything. Okay, we have a classic 90s thriller here. Seven. Finally have a VHS of this film. It's also a later pressing. This movie came out, what was it? 1995. I was about to say mid-90s. This copy was made in the early 2000s. July 15th, 2003. Okay, speaking of alternate cuts, we have another one here. Reindeer Games, the exclusive director's cut. Although, I'm afraid it's not exclusive to VHS. I think this cut also was released on DVD. December 6th, 2000 and December 15th, 2000. Alright, here's another late release. Bad News Bears, the 2005 remake starring Billy Bob Thornton. I actually have another copy of this, although the case is not in very good condition, unlike the other one I have. I'm actually willing to give this copy another go, because my other copy, like Angel Heart, was spliced. November 14th, 2005. So, if it ends up working out, I'll go ahead and swap tapes. Alright, we now have a cult classic sci-fi movie. Dark City. This was directed by Alex Proyas, who is the director of The Crow. It says so on the front. And he also directed Knowing. So, and actually this movie and The Matrix were both considered very innovative for their time. February 5th, 1999. Although this was a box office failure, it's now considered a cult classic. Alright, we have another copy of Pinocchio, the animated Disney film, but this copy is a little more interesting. It's part of the Gold Classic Collection line, which was a line of kind of, I guess you could call them budget releases. They usually released a couple each month. This was during the year 2000, I believe. I think only in the year 2000 and maybe like the first couple months of 2001. They released like a new 1 to 3 movies, give or take, each month at a discounted price. That's pretty much what they did. But this tape is fairly interesting, and I'll show you why. First off, this movie had a re-release in 1999 for its 60th anniversary, and it uses the same exact artwork as this tape. In fact, I think the back is almost identical to the original release. The only difference is the Gold Classic Collection banner at the on the front, located at the top, and then it's also makes an appearance again on the side. The back, otherwise the artwork is virtually identical. Maybe the bottom of the spine's a little different. You know what? I'll actually grab the 60th anniversary edition copy I have. Okay, here's that 60th anniversary edition VHS of Pinocchio that I have. It's pretty much identical, although to be fair, the Pinocchio title has kind of some foil over the letters. The spines, it's the same thing. Actually, down here, it's identical, including the catalog numbers. The backs are virtually identical, except the website address has a little Go Network icon at the bottom. Other than that, they're virtually identical. Almost the same box. The tapes are a little interesting. Many copies of this Gold Classic Collection release used the tape from this release. I imagine the reason why was they had a lot of copies left over, and so to save money, they just put the old tape in the new box. This copy, however, actually does have a new tape. So after years of searching, finding once in a while, this really seems to be less common than this one, because most people who wanted the remastered release would have bought it in '99 and not wait for the Gold Collection release in 2000. So whenever, the few times I'd find this, I'd crack it open and then just see this inside. I'm like, damn it. So finally, I found a copy with a matching tape. This is also a pretty late pressing too for this release. November 22nd, 2001, and December 3rd, 2001. That's fairly important because I believe that this gold collection release actually went into moratorium in January 2002, meaning that it was discontinued that month. So this was actually one of the last copies that Disney manufactured before it went into moratorium. And this was also the final VHS release of the film in North America. There was at least one other release in 2003 in several foreign markets, including at least the UK and Ireland, Japan, I believe South Korea had one, and a few other countries. It might have been around the world except North America had one final release on VHS in 2003. But as far as the US is concerned, this was the final release, and I now have a matching tape along with a matching box. Alright, now we have a Marvel movie, although it's not MCU. We didn't get any MCU films on VHS in the United States. But I did get Blade, in a really nice condition copy too. So, I already have Blade 2, so all I need to get now is Blade Trinity. And then I'll have the whole series, at least for the original movies. April 20th, 1999. Alright, now we have yet another late release. And unfortunately, at least for some of you, this is the last for this video. Although, fortunately for you guys, this isn't that good of a movie, so it may not be that big of a deal to some of you. Mulan 2. Probably one of Disney's worst direct-to-video sequels. I really didn't like the plot in this one. It's actually animated really well for a direct-to-video movie, but they even brought back the original voice actors from the first film. But the actual plot was terrible. December 13th, 2004. But it is indeed a late release. It's still fairly interesting. Hell, even the value has gone up a little bit on this tape, even though the film was kind of, too not good. But I have it here, and it was kind of nice finding a copy of it. Alright guys, next up we have a tape part of the Universal Special Edition series, Fried Green Tomatoes. And I will say, I do like how they actually put them in nice boxes rather than just a slipcase. Although, given it's a special edition, I wish they would have made this widescreen. You're likely paying a little bit extra for the special edition. It would have been nice if they'd let you watch it in widescreen. The 39th week of 2000. Okay, next up we have a tape that was pressed by Avon, and it's one of DreamWorks Animation's, I guess, lesser-known films, The Road to El Dorado. As you can see, there's the trademark FSC number, if it'll focus. There we go. And this is especially obvious as there's no barcode on the back. February 5th, 2003. Speaking of El Dorado, here's another tape of a movie that has almost the same name. El Dorado. But this movie stars John Wayne, and it is live action, not animated. I'm not sure if John Wayne ever started in an animated film. If I'm wrong, let me know, but to my knowledge, I don't think he ever started in an animated film. And this tape is still sealed, so I'll be right back. Okay, just unsealed it. We'll have a look inside. There's the tape. And I don't see a print date on here. Yeah, there's no print date on this. Sorry to disappoint you guys. Next up is a promotional item that was originally sold at Taco Bell. A Christmas Carol. I don't know who originally made this. Maybe it says so on the back. This tape was distributed by Children's Video of America. Apparently it was produced by Burbank Films. So they made this apparently. But yeah, I thought this was fairly interesting. Okay, these next two tapes are presented in widescreen. Finally. We have Air Force One. Then we have Starship Troopers. We'll get to this one here in a moment. The third week of 1998. And Starship Troopers. There's no week and year code or print date on this copy. Next, we have a tape from the Fox Studio Classics series. Titanic, the original film, not the James Cameron movie. If it was the James Cameron movie, I wouldn't have it. The VHS of Titanic, at least the full screen version, is like a cancer at every thrift store VHS section. I see it almost all the time. '26th week of 1998. Not saying James Cameron's Titanic is a bad film or anything. It's just that I just see it all the time, and so whenever I see it, I just get sick of it. And surely I can't be the only one who says that. Alright, next we have yet another tape pressed by Avon. The Adventures of Milo and Otis. I actually had a copy of this before, but it didn't have the case. So finally, I have a copy with the case. And for those who don't know, this was a Japanese film that was picked up by Columbia Pictures and dubbed into English. October 22nd, 1998. I'm sure the original Japanese version's out there somewhere if you want to see it. Alright, for the Disney Park fans, I'm sure you guys will love seeing this. Disneyland presents The Lion King Celebration. Now there's a couple of interesting things about this tape, and I'll show you. First of all, this tape, or at least according to the box, is encoded in the PAL format. This tape was sold in the United States originally, but given the nature of this being a souvenir item sold at the parks, they made both NTSC and PAL versions. There might even be a CCAM version as well. But there's something a little different about this. It's not necessarily a PAL tape, actually. This is an NTSC conversion. As you see, this is a recordable tape. It has a handwritten end label. It has Maxell branding on it. So this is a recorded tape. It's an NTSC conversion of the original PAL cassette. So essentially, I could watch this on any VCR that I come across. Alright, next we have another widescreen VHS, but unfortunately, this is the last one for this particular video. Patriot Games. the 44th week of 1998. I'll say this next tape has a really nice case with nice artwork on it. The Robe. It's like another, not sure when, 1953. I was about to say another old Hollywood gem. July 31st, 2002. Just in time for Christmas, we have, I believe, might be the first official VHS release of this special. If I'm wrong, let me know, but I think this is the first, at least, mass market release of this title. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And look at this cover. It looks very 80s to me. Doesn't this cover just scream 80s? I think it does. Actually, I think it's actually meant... Yeah, I think it's meant to look like that. Okay, I thought it was like... I thought the spine was damaged at first. But no, that's actually part of the cover. It's meant to look like a present that's being opened. The 35th week of 1989. Okay, the last couple items that I have are James Bond related. First off, we have an unofficial James Bond movie, Never Say Never Again. This movie was made as a result of a lawsuit that actually allowed, what was it? Yeah, these two guys. They actually were able to get the film rights for Thunderball back. And so they kind of readapted the story into Never Say Never Again. October 18th, 1995. There is a widescreen VHS of this film with this particular cover. I hope to find it down the line. And to cap all this video, I have a pretty cool box set. It's just called the Bond 007 gift set. But what this encompasses are the first 3 James Bond films. As you can see. Unfortunately, this is not widescreen. There might be a widescreen counterpart to this, though, but I could be wrong. Mail-in rebate offer for if you buy a couple of James Bond titles. This ad's actually from 1996, as you can see. But for some reason, GoldenEye is not included. You think that they would want to advertise the new Bond movie, right? But for some reason, it's not advertised here. So we have Dr. No. MGM's print dates, at least when they use red ink or a pain to read. But I believe this is, I think, December 15th, 1995. Yeah, it is December 15th. December 19th, 1995. And then we have Goldfinger. This one's also December 19th, 1995. Okay, sorry about the abrupt jump cut, but I decided to stop recording whenever I was putting the box set back together, but it looks like this whenever I finished it. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I apologize for the long length, but I thank you guys for sticking around to the end, and I plan on bringing you more collection videos pretty soon. So, stick around for those, and I'll see you guys again soon.